Okay, I'm going to talk about this because I'm a Michigan man, and the news yesterday about a man who I revere was harrowing, to say the least. And I always talk about personal subject matters on this show. We also, when Penn State and Michigan State were going through awful moments due to, in the case of Michigan State, a doctor who was a dreadful, horrible human being. And in the case of Penn State, an assistant coach who was a dreadful, horrible human being. And we talked about Joe Paterno at the time and how his statue needed to come down and how dreadful all of that was and how difficult it was for Penn State and Michigan State to understand how something like this could happen on their campus. And I don't know if you remember, Chris, did I say like there was the Grace Go Any school? And now it's mine, it looks like. And involves a guy who I covered in 1990 in his final season. And I don't know if I can compute what Bo's stepson said about him and what other players said that he did when confronted with the fact that a doctor was doing all sorts of awful, unimaginable, harrowing, obviously illegal, molestation. This is all alleged. If Bo knew about it and did nothing, then we need to know. This needs to be investigated. If Bo knew about it and did nothing, it would be very difficult for me to see it. It would be very troubling because I'm conflicted. But his statue would have to come down at Michigan, and his name would have to come off the building. It's that simple. Nothing is more sacred than somebody's life. Nothing is more sacred than somebody's personal space. It should not be violated by another human being. And if somebody else was in a position of power and could stop it and knew about it and did nothing. Now, that's not the guy that I knew or covered. I mean, I knew all about his legacy, and I knew all about what he did, in the community for children, and what Bo stood for a leader of men, and what Bo meant in terms of the football program. And he built the modern day football program. I mean, Michigan football is him. Modern day Michigan football is him, and that building, and I can't believe it. But I have no problem moving on without him and rooting for Michigan, because Michigan and what it stands for does not stand for that. I wanted to say that. It's so difficult. I don't believe I don't believe I'm hearing he's being accused of knowing, and this doctor, what he has been accused of doing, and that Bo would know about it and do nothing about it. So many of his players are like, he would never, including the current coach. So let's investigate it. Let's get to the bottom of this. And I'll tell you what, the student body wouldn't stand for that either. They'll be the first ones to say, take that down and get his name off. Current student body, who doesn't know Bo from Adam. But I was there, and that was not the man that I knew of or covered or got to know in the brief times that I did spend time with him. Let's get to the bottom of it and figure this thing out. But the first blush statements from some former players and a member of his family certainly gives pause and makes me wonder what in the world was going on. Wanted to say that. Last thing I want is to ever be, somebody who doesn't talk about something important, certainly in the sports world, just because it's something close to me or in a school that I love and will go to my grave loving, and wanted to say that.